Ajax, Ontario is a medium-sized town near the shores of Lake Ontario. This area has grown considerably since the 1980s and is now known as a bedroom community to Toronto. Ajax is where Marg Parr makes her home. She moved here not long ago after her husband passed away.
The beginning of March 2003, they diagnosed him as having ALS, and he deteriorated very fast since that time. So I decided, after much praying, I had peace about it, so then I moved to Ajax, and I wanted to be close to my church.
Deeply rooted in her faith, Marg felt called into the healing ministry, and a few years ago started watching Richard and Lindsay's program, The Place for Miracles.
I started, I would say, about 3 years ago. I found out about the Hour of Healing, and I started watching it, and I started taping it because it comes in at midnight. So I've been watching it ever since. And I know it's real, and I am prone to healing, to that area, because I believe I have been called into that area. So I'm very, very interested in healing, and this program is ideal. I know I have been called into that area, but of course I have been having my own challenges.
At the beginning of the year, she started having stomach problems, painful problems that wouldn't go away.
It's just continual pain in my stomach, and it didn't matter what I ate or what I abstained from, I was just having pain. I could not figure out what the problem was. So eventually I decided to go to the doctor about it, and they sent me for all kinds of stress tests. Everything came out negative. So eventually they decided, well, what else? They sent me for a stomach test for stomach ulcer.
But before she went for the test, Marg happened to be watching Lindsay on TV, and she said something that caught her attention.
And Lindsay said that the Lord had been dealing with her to pray for people who are having ulcer due to stress.
I have been crying over people with ulcers. Now, you'd think you'd cry over something different, but I tell you, it's just like God has been telling me all day long. I have been praying for people with ulcers all day long.
And I knew immediately, that was me, this is it. So I claimed it, and immediately, the Spirit of the Lord came upon me so strongly at that time. And then I decided to call the Hour of Healing, and I gave my report right there, because I knew it was for me. I just want to call to give my praise report. The Lord has just healed me of ulcer, stomach ulcer.
Afterwards, Marg also claimed Nahum 1:9.
The affliction shall not arise a second time. So I stayed on that, and then that was it, and it went away. Everything went away.
The ulcer tests went as scheduled, and the results were exactly what Marg was expecting.
But when the test came back, then they couldn't find any ulcer because I was already healed, you know. And then I haven't had any problem with my stomach anymore. It just seemed to have just vanished. But I knew that that was for me.
Today, she's pain-free and knows that the Abundant Life Prayer Group will always be there in her time of need.
So I called them many times, sometimes 6 in the morning, sometimes 5 in the morning, sometimes in the middle of the night. I would be calling them to pray for me, because I know the power of the prayer of agreement.
Marg is also a partner with the Oral Roberts Ministries, and she couldn't imagine her life without it.
The anointing that is on the ministry, you also reap all the benefits of that because you're in partnership with them. If you're hooked up to a ministry where you know into the type of ministry that you know you've been called into, then your faith is strengthened in that way.
Marg continues to watch Richard and Lindsay and knows how important it is to share with others what God has done in her life.
When you hear, oh, someone else had this problem and they stood on the word and the Lord healed them, it strengthens their faith.
She knows that healing is real because she is living proof.
I knew then it was for me, and I claimed it right there and then. And I got so emotional that because I knew it was for me.